Once you've figured out who your stakeholders are, you're going to need to work out how your leave is going to impact them and how you're going to manage them. Consider how your leave is going to affect each person. So think about what their needs might be. A great tip is really to put yourself in their shoes as best you possibly can. What concerns and challenges have they got? What's keeping them awake at night? What are their work pressures? What might they be worried about that you're going to be absent, and what's the impact of that going to be on them? Perhaps you're the only one which has got certain specialist skills in the team, and the others left behind might feel a little bit exposed when you're not there. Really thinking this through and also reflecting on, well, if you put yourself in their shoes, what's their past experience of working alongside working parents? Maybe there've been other people, maybe there've been positive experiences, maybe there've been negative experiences. Just some of these things you might not know for sure, but just to try and get yourself into getting a sense of those that you work most closely with. How are they going to be experiencing the announcement of your upcoming parental leave? Once you've put yourself into their shoes, that's probably going to trigger certain thoughts and ideas that you can then come back and discuss as solutions with your manager and set up a plan to help the transition run smoothly. People's ideas and assumptions, it's fair to say, I think, can vary pretty enormously, and professional and personal stakeholders may well hold views that are quite different from your own. So a key thing here is don't assume that others are going to be thinking the same way as you. Instead, you need to discuss their expectations and assumptions and views and share your expectations and assumptions and views, because it's only really by bringing the two together that you're going to be able to make authentic choices and keep those relationships on a positive footing. All of this is really important, not just for the sort of more short-term thing of getting the job done, delivering well before you go on leave, but for that bigger picture of your personal brand, if you like, at work, your image, how you're thought of. That's the lasting imprint, actually, that people are going to be left with as you transition out of work for a period of parental leave. So as you think about stakeholders, be aware that the number of stakeholders that you have on that list of yours can quickly become pretty large. So it's important to start to distinguish between the different groups and prioritize just like you would with anything. So you've got your professional category, the personal category. Some stakeholders are inevitably going to be more important than others, whether that's your manager, your direct reports, maybe your partner, your parents if they happen to live close by and they're going to be involved in childcare, whoever it might be. But it's critical that you really take stock of the relative importance of your stakeholders and how to communicate with them. In the sessions coming up, we're going to walk you step by step through, firstly, working out who those most important people are. Now, you might say, oh, well, that's really obvious. I know who they are. But there's probably going to be some people that you haven't thought of yet. Or maybe it's not that you haven't thought of the person, but it's the kind of conversation that experience has told us that it's important to have. So stick with us to find out who those people are and the conversations that you need to have. We're going to guide you through how they all fit together, these different stakeholders, and introduce you to a really useful mapping key stakeholders tool that's going to help you work on the different ways that you might communicate with each and every one of those different stakeholders. So remember, your stakeholders are important because they've got an interest in you and they've got the potential to really make or break the success of this transition. Managing them carefully is going to help you have as smooth, open and stress-free a transition as possible. So it's really worth doing well.